On a quiet night in Berlin, a young woman sat alone in her tiny apartment, holding her phone like it might burn her hand. She had recorded herself saying just one simple sentence. "I'd like a glass of water, please." But every time she pressed play, her heart sank. The words were correct, yet something fell off. The rhythm, the melody, the life in her voice. It was as if her English didn't belong to her. What Lina didn't know that night was that this single moment, the moment of frustration and self-doubt, would mark the beginning of a life-changing journey. A journey that would take her from whispered words to a confident, powerful voice. This is not just Lina's story. It's the story of anyone who has ever dreamed of speaking English naturally, clearly, and without fear. And today, you are about to step into that story too. Finding My Voice, Lina's journey to a clearer English accent. An inspirational story about language, transformation, and the sound of self-belief. Chapter 1. The Words That Got Stuck. Lina stood in the quiet of her tiny apartment in Berlin, holding her phone like it might burn her hand. She had recorded herself for the third time, trying to say one simple sentence. "I'd like a glass of water, please." That was all. But when she played it back, she flinched. Her voice didn't sound like her. At least, not the version of herself she hoped the world would hear. Her W was off, too sharp. The R was soft, almost missing. And worst of all, the melody of the sentence. It was flat, lifeless. Nothing like the English she heard in movies or podcasts. She dropped her phone on the bed and sighed. It wasn't fair. Lina had studied English since she was 10. Grammar? Check. Vocabulary? Check. She could write essays that won her praise. But when it came to speaking, especially in front of native speakers, something always got in the way. They don't understand me. I sound robotic. My accent is too thick. These thoughts whispered to her every time she tried to join a conversation. But that day, Lina made a decision. She whispered it to herself, eyes fixed on the voice recorder. "I'm going to fix this. I want to sound clear, natural, and like me." She just didn't know how. Chapter 2. The Discovery. The next day, as she scrolled through YouTube, Lina stumbled on a video. The thumbnail read, "How to Improve Your Accent Graded Reader. Learn English Through Story." A calm voice filled her room. The narrator wasn't just explaining pronunciation. He was telling a story, a real, simple story, slowly, clearly, with natural pauses. It was a scene about a man ordering coffee and feeling nervous because of his accent. Lina leaned in. It was like hearing her own thoughts out loud. Then came the surprise. "Now, repeat after me," the voice said. "Shadow the speaker. Don't just say the words. Copy the rhythm, the emotion, the music." Lina paused the video. Shadowing? She had heard the term, but never tried it seriously. It felt awkward, but she had nothing to lose. So she hit play again and began to mimic. Not read, not guess. Just follow the speaker exactly. She copied every intonation, every breath, every subtle pause. At first, it was hard. Her tongue tripped. Her brain argued. But after 15 minutes, she replayed her own voice. Something had changed. No, it wasn't perfect, but sounded better, clearer, more alive. She smiled. Chapter 3. The Rule of Music. The more she practiced, the more Lina noticed a pattern. English wasn't just about individual sounds, like the TH or R. It was about music. Every sentence had a melody, a rhythm, a dance of stressed and unstressed words. She remembered what the narrator had said. English is a stress-time language. Not every word is equal. Focus on the beats. For Lina, that changed everything. She printed the script from the video and marked the stressed words in bold. "I'd like a glass of water, please." Suddenly it clicked. The problem wasn't just pronunciation. It was timing, intonation, emotion, and story. The sentences made more sense when they belonged to a character, a situation, a feeling. Chapter 4. Lina's Shadowing Routine. By the end of that week, Lina had a new habit. Every morning, before breakfast, she chose one story-based video. She listened once, eyes closed, read the transcript aloud once, then shadowed it 3 times, recording herself each round. It took only 20 minutes a day, but the progress was stunning. Her voice sounded more confident. Her English was no longer choppy or stiff. She even caught herself thinking in English phrases instead of translating. Most importantly, she started to enjoy the process. She even laughed out loud when she realized she had started speaking to her cat in English. Shadow time, Leo. Let's make you bilingual too. Chapter 5. Setbacks and Breakthroughs. It wasn't all smooth sailing. One afternoon, after a frustrating session, Lina listened back to her recording and cringed. "You still sound foreign," a voice in her head said. "You'll never be perfect." She almost gave up. But that evening, she found an interview with a famous polyglot who said, "Perfection is the enemy of fluency. Your goal is clarity, connection, not to erase your identity." That hit her hard. Lina realized her goal wasn't to sound native. It was to sound herself, but in English, with clarity and emotion. Chapter 6. The First Real Test. 2 months into her journey, Lina found herself in a live Zoom call with other English learners from around the world. It was a conversation club hosted by an American teacher named Rachel. There were people from Brazil, Turkey, Japan, and Egypt, all gathered to speak, practice, and support each other. When her turn came, Lina's palms were sweaty. "Hi, I'm Lina from Germany. I'm still working on my accent, but I'm excited to be here." Her voice trembled at first, but then someone smiled. Another participant gave her a thumbs up, and Rachel said, "Lina, your intonation is excellent. You sound expressive, which is more important than sounding native." That was the moment. Lina exhaled. Her years of insecurity cracked open. She wasn't just speaking. She was being heard. Chapter 7. 5 Accent Techniques That Changed Everything. As Lina grew more confident, she built her own toolkit, a set of techniques that made a dramatic difference in her pronunciation. Here's what she discovered. Glowing star 1. Chunking. Instead of speaking word by word, she practiced speaking in phrases or chunks. Crossmark. I slash would slash like slash, a slash glass slash of slash water. Wide heavy check mark. I like a glass of water. This made her speech smoother and closer to native rhythm. Glowing star 2. Shadow plus pause technique. After shadowing, she would pause after each phrase and repeat it twice, exaggerating the intonation. For example, narrator, he walked into the room. Lina, he walked into the room. He walked into the room. This helped her internalize the music of English. Glowing star 3. Minimal pairs practice. She printed a list of minimal pairs, words that differ by one sound. Ship slash sheep. Think slash sink. Read slash rid. She recorded herself, compared the difference, and trained her ear to notice the subtle changes. Glowing star 4. The mirror method. Lina practiced tricky sounds like th, r, and l in front of the mirror. Tongue between teeth for th, think 30 thanks. Lips rounded for a right around, really. She even stuck post-it notes on the mirror. Smile. Breathe. Speak like music. Glowing star 5. Story looping. Instead of repeating random sentences, she would loop one story for a full week. By Friday, she could speak along with the narrator in perfect sync. Chapter 8. When Mistakes Became Magic. One rainy afternoon, Lina was having coffee with her old friend Jonas. She shared her pronunciation journey and laughed at how she used to say beach like B*tch, accidentally embarrassing herself in Malta. "I once said, I love lying on the B*tch in front of my professor," she giggled. Jonas laughed so hard he almost spilled his drink. That day, Lina realized something beautiful. Mistakes are not shameful. They're stories, memories, growth. She said, "If I never made that mistake, I wouldn't have cared enough to fix it." That was her turning point. She stopped fearing mistakes and started embracing them. Chapter 9. Teaching Leo and Herself. Yes, Leo the cat became her most loyal listener. Every day, Lina practiced aloud with him sitting nearby. "Leo, today we're practicing rising intonation. Do you hear the difference between can and can't? I barely did last month." She would play with rhythm. I didn't say she stole the money. Depending on the stress, this sentence had 7 different meanings. She realized English wasn't just pronunciation. It was emotion, intention, storytelling. The better she understood that, the more expressive her voice became. Leo blinked, unimpressed. But Lina smiled, because she knew she was growing. Chapter 10, The Voice Within. 3 months in, Lina recorded herself reading a children's story she loved as a kid. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who dreamed of speaking beautifully. When she listened back, she didn't cringe. She smiled. It was her voice, soft but sure. Her accent wasn't gone, but it no longer controlled her. Her clarity had improved. Her rhythm flowed. Her identity had expanded. She wasn't trying to sound like someone else. She was becoming the best version of herself in another language. And that, to her, was the most beautiful sound of all. Chapter 11, The Invitation. One quiet evening, Lina checked her inbox and saw a message titled, "We'd love to hear your story." It was from Rachel, the American teacher from the Conversation Club. She was organizing an online event where learners would give 3-minute speeches about their English journey. At first, Lina panicked. A speech? Me? But something inside her whispered, "You're ready." So she replied, "Yes, I'd be honored." And she began to prepare. Chapter 12, Sound, Stress, Soul. Writing the speech was easy. Practicing it, that was the real challenge. She wanted every word to carry weight, every pause to hold meaning. To prepare, she turned to advanced pronunciation tools she had learned through research and YouTube. Direct hit Advanced Pronunciation Tools. YW checkmark 1. Bakshining technique. Lina started pronouncing phrases from the end backward. Understand, stand, understand. Responsibility, ity ability, responsibility. This helped her master long, intimidating words. YW checkmark 2. Linking and intrusion. She practiced connecting sounds naturally. Go on sounds like go on. I saw it, I saw wit. YW checkmark 3. Thought groups and pitch. She broke the speech into thought groups, using pitch to guide emotion. I never thought I'd speak clearly. // but now. I know / it's possible. YW checkmark 4. Schwa mastery. She trained herself to reduce weak syllables with the schwa sound. Banana / benane / comfortable / kvmftbl / YW checkmark 5. Story plus breath coordination. She synced her breath with the story's emotions. Norusing, norowatik pasing. She even practiced in the park, out loud, pretending the trees were her audience. Chapter 13, The Speech. The day arrived. Her heart pounded as she opened the Zoom room. Rachel smiled. "Lina, you're up." She looked into her camera, took a breath, and began. There was a time when I avoided speaking English. Not because I didn't know the words, but because I didn't believe in my voice. Her intonation rose and fell like a wave. Then one day, I found a story. Not just any story, a spoken one. And I began to shadow it. Every day, slowly, repeating, feeling. Her voice was calm, controlled, musical. I used to chase perfection. Now, I chase connection. When she finished, the room was silent, then filled with claps and comments. Powerful, beautiful message. You inspire me to try shadowing too. Lina wiped a tear, not because she was proud of her English, but because for the first time, she felt seen. Chapter 14, Becoming the Mentor. Months passed. Lina kept practicing recording, shadowing, and growing. Eventually, she started her own YouTube channel. Movie Camera Speak with Lina. Shadow stories for learners. She uploaded videos where she read graded stories slowly, clearly, with emotion. She broke down rhythm, stress, linking, and invited viewers to shadow her. People from India, Colombia, and Vietnam left comments like, "Your voice makes me want to try. I finally understand how to say comfortable. This changed the way I practice." One learner even said, "I didn't just learn pronunciation. I found courage." That's when Lina understood something deep. She hadn't just learned to speak English clearly. She had learned to help others find their voice too. Chapter 15, The Full Circle. One evening, Lina revisited the first recording she ever made. "I'd like a glass of water, please." She smiled. The accent was uncertain, the rhythm off. But that voice, that girl, had started a revolution inside her. She whispered to the old recording, "Thank you for not giving up." And then she recorded a new version of the same sentence. "I'd like a glass of water, please." This time it was fluid, confident, her own. Sparkle's final reflection, the power of story and sound. Lina's journey wasn't about losing her accent. It was about owning her sound. She learned that accent is not a flaw, it's flavor. Confidence is built, not found. Shadowing isn't just imitation, it's transformation. Pronunciation is muscle memory, rhythm, and heart. Speaking is not performance, it's connection. And most of all, every learner has a voice worth hearing. Lina once whispered her English. Now, she speaks it with pride. So can you. Lina's transformation was never about losing her accent. It was about finding her true voice. She learned that clarity is built through small, daily steps. That connection matters more than perfection. And that every learner has a story worth telling. In their own sound, their own rhythm, their own identity. Now it's your turn. What's one small step you can take today, right after reading this, to bring yourself closer to the voice you've always wanted? Share your thoughts, your fears, or even your very first shadowing experience in the comments. We'd love to hear your voice, because every story begins with a single word. Sparkles, this is just the beginning. Join us on the next journey here at Tales English, where language comes alive through powerful stories and unforgettable voices. Your voice matters, and the world is waiting to hear it.